Today we are touring Riverwind Cove in Alva, Florida. Alva is an eastern riverside suburb of Fort Myers. This is on the north side of the river, and it is just before you get to the Punta Gorda, Charlotte County line. Today I'm going to go over all the amenities that you'll see here in Riverwind Cove, some of the different housing options, and of course the pros and cons of living here in Riverwind Cove. Hey, my name is Jessica Gatewood and I'm a realtor here in Fort Myers, Florida. So let's get to the video now. As I said, Alva is riverside suburb of Fort Myers. This is in eastern Lee County. We are close to North Fort Myers, just about a 15 to 20 minute commute to North Fort Myers and LaBelle, and then it's about a 45-minute commute to downtown Fort Myers. This is an upscale community located on the Caloosahatchee River. The community is not a gated community, but it does have two separate entrances off of, you can take North River Road east and into LaBelle, or you can go back west, back into town, and that will take you to State Road 31, which north is to Babcock Ranch in Punta Gorda, south is out to State Road 80 or State Road 78. And that's how you get back into town. As for the amenities here, like I said, there's the multiple entries. So you have two separate entries off of State Road 78 North River Road. It is a private community, so there are deed restrictions and things of that sort. There's paved roads and there's street lights in here. Part of the HOA, the Homeowners Association, is high-speed fiber optic internet. That is something that since the COVID years we get asked a lot, especially when you get out into the suburbs. How's the internet? Am I going to have issues connecting? Because, you know, a lot of people are working from home these days. So here, one of your perks is that there is the high-speed fiber optic internet underground that is billed separately through the HOA annually. It's about $660 right now. No internet issues out here, which is great. Otherwise, your main option would be, if you get outside of this community, of course, it would be, your best option would be Starlink. There's also an equestrian center in here. Now, it has a barn with stables that is on a first come, first serve basis and tends to be full, but it's still a fun little thing to take the golf cart out with the kids and go watch the horses and watch the riders and things like that. So as you can see here in Riverwind Cove, you've got a wide range of options. This ranges from entry-level homes all the way to the very high-end luxury homes. On the low end in the past 90 days, the lowest price home that sold is for $750,000, and on the high end, the highest priced home that sold in the last 90 days just closed last month for $2.35 million. The median over the past 90 days is $1.79 million. And while there are many new construction homes currently being built, as you'll see on our little drive-through here, these are not typically what you see on the MLS. This will be an end user that is building the home, their custom home for themselves. Most of the homes that come up for sale in the community are resale homes, at least 1 to 2 years old. Development in Riverwind Cove began in 1995 and continues today. As I just mentioned, you'll see that the new construction homes are going up, and there's still a few vacant lots that are up for sale or being held where the owners are in the process of building their custom home. There's 78 total home sites in the community, and 29 of those are riverfront. So as I said, it's custom homes that are built here in this community. So in Riverwind Cove, you are free to choose your own builder. However, you do have to follow the community deed restrictions, and you have to have your plans approved by the HOA before you do anything, like before you even go for a permit. These deed restrictions include things like the size of the home, different for a non-riverfront than the riverfront homes, and then things like the roof type, the material on the roof, metal or tile, and then your landscaping. Some other important notes regarding the HOA: the community does allow for immediate leasing upon ownership. So there are some communities that you have to own the home for at least 1 or 2 years before they allow you to lease it out. Now, Riverwind Cove does allow immediate leasing, but there is a minimum of a 30-day lease and a maximum of 12 separate leases a year. So there's none of the short-term Airbnb type rentals allowed in this community. And as I touched on a bit already, that the community does have the deed and use restrictions. So you can't run your business out of your home. There's no commercial vehicles allowed in the community. No storage of trailers in your driveway or on your property. So no boat trailers, no enclosed, even not branded. No storage of trailers. There's no seawalls allowed on the riverfront.
These are all of the riverfront homes have conservation easements, so you'll have a natural slope into the river with either naturally occurring plants, or you'll see some riprap, which is like the big rocks. There's no fences allowed over 5 feet tall, and no chain link fences are allowed at all. And then I've already mentioned that there's design restrictions for the new construction, which includes the size and the materials and the landscaping and things like that. I'm not saying all of this to scare you off of moving to Riverwind Cove by any means. I just want to make sure that you understand that there is a lot of factors that go into, especially if you're building new construction, or even just moving into the community. It's important that you understand that there are rules and restrictions of what you can do on your property. That's part of living in an HOA. And I'd hate for you to get, I have a past client that I sold their home in a different community in North Fort Myers. So I didn't help them with the purchase. I helped them with the sale. But when they purchased the home, they found out after the fact that they could not even drive their motorhome into the community and store it in the garage. You were not even allowed to, like I said, drive it into the community. So that was huge for them, as they owned a big, bus and couldn't even store it at their house. So that's where I just want to make sure that you know everything up front of what you're getting into when you move into a community. So I'd be honored to help you understand and navigate that process. Again, you can shoot me a text, an email, call me anytime. I'd love to help.
All right, I'm going to get into the pros and cons here in just one second, but first I wanted to let y'all know that I make these videos not only because I love doing them, but because I just could not imagine moving to a new city or a new state and not knowing what neighborhood was the right choice for me and my family and my needs on, commute times and the amenities and things like that. So being that a person that is born and raised here, I really love sharing as much information as I can with you all so you can make the best decision for yourselves. So if you're looking to make that move to Southwest Florida, I would love to help any way I can. Just shoot me a call, a text, an email, anything I can do to help you make the right decision for yourself and your family. I would love to be that person for you. Let's get into the amenities. As a smaller neighborhood, Riverwind Cove has a really close-knit atmosphere. It appeals to those looking for that quieter lifestyle, but also the opportunity to interact with your neighbors. Most everyone in the neighborhood tends to go all out with decorations for both Halloween and Christmas. It's just a really awesome community feeling, but you still get your space. Next, as I've mentioned, the location is great. And, we're close to North Fort Myers and Fort Myers, LaBelle. You have easy access to shopping and dining. Everything is really within 30 to 45 minutes from here. The closest grocery store is only 15 minutes away. And with Babcock Ranch just to the north here, there's a lot of new things coming there. They have a Publix there. They're also getting things like a Marshall's, I think a Planet Fitness. There's some great restaurants in there. You really have a lot right at your fingertips, but you still, like I said, are out and get some more of that space. I think the best thing about being in Riverwind Cove out here in Alva is the slower pace. There's just something about once you get onto North River Road, you just feel an instant relaxation. The surroundings are so beautiful. It's just a peaceful lifestyle that is ideal for families, retirees, or really anyone that's just wants to escape a rat race of life. Now on to the cons. Obviously, there's never a perfect neighborhood. Every neighborhood has its flaws, and Riverwind Cove has its own. First thing that I'm going to point out for you is the future development that is coming to this area. I don't know if it's the COVID era that we were in, or with all of the information at our fingertips, it seems to be more of a trend of people wanting to get into a slower paced life and a more self-reliant life. So there is a ton of new development coming to the suburbs out here. Just to the west on State Road 78, which is North River Road, there is a new residential plan development it's currently called the Carrie Duke Povia. It's who the property owners were. It's still in the planning stages. They're trying to get county approval on some things, but it's a 788 acre property with 1,099 home sites planned. You can imagine that's going to impact your daily commuting. If you're having to go in for work and things like that, that's something to keep in mind. There's also another one that's just To the west of the Cary Dupovia, that's the Owl Creek residential plan development. That one's a little bit smaller with only 440 home sites on 343 acres, but these are definitely going to impact things out here. Most importantly, the traffic. Definitely important to keep these things in mind when you're deciding if you, especially if you're commuting into work or school, things like that. When you're deciding if Alva is the place for you, Riverwind Cove is the place for you, you got to keep the new developments in mind. That said, and this is it's going to be a con for growing pains while they do it, but they are expanding State Road 31, which is the main thoroughfare from Alva into town. That is going to start any day now and continue into late 2026. So like I said, this is going to be growing pains. It's going to cause some headaches for commuting, but in the end it will be worth it. They are expanding that into currently it's a 2 lanes. It's going to be expanded to 4 lanes, and they're going to make the room for 6 lanes. I don't know why they don't just do 6 lanes now, but it's not my lane, so I'll stay out of it. And then there's going to be some roundabouts to keep the traffic moving slower without the traffic lights. Last thing that is important, while I am walking, you can see I'm walking on the streets here, and it's quiet and safe and beautiful. There are no designated sidewalks or hiking trails in this community. The good news is that there is a regional park just a couple miles up North River Road, Caloosahatchee Regional Park. It's 768 acres. That's huge. Of pine flatwoods, scrub oaks, cypress swamps, and oak hammocks. So beautiful scenery, and that's right on the river. There's 20 miles that are designated just for biking and horseback riding, and then that's on the north side, and the south side of the park is hiking, fishing, and there's a floating dock, and you can also do primitive camping in there. Primitive meaning there's no electric or water. You can do tent camping, anything like that. But they also offer daily kayak rentals and covered pavilions for a family barbecue or a little birthday party, stuff like that. All right, that's going to wrap it up. I will give you, if you think that Riverwind Cove is something that you like, but maybe you wanted a few more other amenities or something like that, I'll give you a few other options here in just a second. I just wanted to, one last time, remind you that I would love to be of service to you in any way that I can. Ask any question, answer any question, no obligation. Just shoot me a call, a text, email me, and I will do whatever I can to make this transition as smooth as I can for you. Okay, so some different options for communities in here, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, is Babcock Ranch. That's actually in Punta Gorda in Charlotte County, but the county line is very close. It's just about 15 minutes to the north on State Road 31, and that is a master plan community. So in there they have schools, they have, like I said, a Publix, they have restaurants, they have parks, they have on-site doctor's offices. That's kind of a one-stop shop. You really could make it so you don't have to even leave the community if that's the lifestyle for you. There's also, just a little bit back into North Fort Myers, there's the Brightwater Lagoon, which is another planned development. It's one of the large swimming pool lagoon communities, Metro Lagoons. So they have swim up bar, the blow up inflatable park for the kids, all kinds of things. That's a huge community with a lot of different builder options in there. So that's another one to look into. And that's going to wrap it up for me today. Again, if you're looking to make the move, I would love to be of service to you. If you think Riverwind Cove is the place for you, just shout out, or if I can answer any more questions, let me know, and I'll see y'all soon.